Hello and welcome everyone to a new episode in our webinars. Today we will talk about mindsets, and I'm really happy for that to have Alex Grahe here with me. Today Alex is head of HR at H&M and has a great background in psychology and also in transformation of organization, and has amazing skills and knowledge in transformation of leadership. So why she is today the best person to talk about mindsets, and that's what we are doing. So, and before we start, so Alex, maybe you can just give a brief introduction about yourself, and then I prepared some great questions for you, and then just let's start and have a chat about mindsets.
Okay. Hi, thanks for having me here. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm Alex Grahe, as Franka just mentioned. I'm working for H&M since years and working in the HR department, mainly responsible for HR in Germany, and was focused on the last years on leadership, transformational processes, and of course this goes ahead and in line with mindset changes. So that's why I'm curious for your questions and curious for our discussion we will have during the next minutes.
Yeah. So, and let's start with our first question. Alex, with your background in psychology and leadership, what does the word mindset mean to you?
Yes, I really want to stick in that answer very close to the normal definition when it comes to mindset. And mindset is, first of all, a set of attitudes you bring with you. And it's relatively stable. Why I call it relatively, we will come to this later. And it starts, everything what you do starts with your mindset. So judging of the situations, taking decisions, choosing which actions you take, and of course then the created results. Everything starts with a mindset. And when we talk about the human mindset, a difference to that is an organizational mindset. That's a totally difference. It's in contrary to it, because this you can set as an organization, and it's depending on different things we will talk about later. But this for me is mindset, a relatively stable set of attitudes when it comes to people, and the organizational mindset when you think about organizations, their goals, their visions, their purpose, and the mindset of the organization you set as the people working in there.
Okay, great. So first of all, so the difference between mindsets of human employees, people, and also then what does mindset for organization mean. So as you mentioned, mindset is a great topic and a huge topic right now for many companies. Many companies talking about, hey, what is the mindset for the future? What do we need? And so with your background, how would you introduce the topic of mindsets to someone who isn't that familiar to this topic right now?
You're totally right. Mindset is used everywhere right now. You can hear it on every conference. Every speaker is using it. If you just read a management or leadership book, there's not just one sentence with the word mindset in it. And I think it's because companies and everybody now recognizes that transformational processes or change processes cannot only start with a good toolkit. Of course, you need a good toolkit to start transformational processes or change processes, but it all starts, as I said in the beginning, with the right mindset behind. And this is, people are now more aware of it, and organizations are now more aware of it. And that's as well how I would start to introduce why working with mindsets and why mindset is so important to use or so relevant for transformational processes, because all starts with your look and feel towards a situation and towards changes. And this affects everything and every step you do behind. So that's why it's in all mouth, I would say, right now, but that's as well how I would introduce the importance of mindset, the relevance of mindsets to somebody who has never been in contact with this topic at the moment.
So mindset at all is a huge word, and as you said, so everything starts with the mindset. And so change starts with the mindset. So it is the point where you come from. But just especially for organizations who are not that familiar with that, so let's bring up a concrete example. So for you, what is a specific mindset? So one specific one where you figure it out, especially maybe also in your personal environment, but also in organizational environment, that where the importance increased in the last few years, and where you think, so this is the mindset, maybe from where we come, but for the future, we need to shift the mindset to become more successful, to stay innovative, to keep ourselves interesting for the high potentials and something. I mean, this is what I understand. What's the reason for it to think about mindsets and to shift mindsets? It's also a question about culture, and so. Just let's talk about a specific example. So what comes up to your mind?
When I think about the future mindset or what is necessary in the future, I just want to throw in 4 main keywords. And I think this is completely the comparison to the mindset of the past. And of course, you are all aware about it and you know that. So if you want what is relevant for the future, what kind of mindset is relevant for the future, this is of course an open-minded mindset. It's of course to be curious. Really to stay curious and open, so actively interested. You're always willing to learn and to develop. That's very important, and the most important thing is to have this kind of self-reflective mindset. To always go in the self-reflective iteration processes and to judge situations you are in or to self-reflect, am I right or am I wrong? And this is the total difference to I don't want to say the old mindset, but to the mindset in the past, where it's more about analyzing the parts, where it's more about being more secure, where it's perhaps more about take future decisions from analytics of the past. And this is totally the opposite of being curious, being flexible, being self-reflective. This soft skill, self-reflection mindset comes in very fast. Because this is the first step to the way of learn and stay curious, and this is the most important thing we need to be in the future.
Yeah, I think most of us, we are aware. So what you said, it was a curiosity, being open, and willing to learn, long life learning, and but also the open will for self-reflection. So those 4 things, and what's going on in our environment and society that those 4 things are just that important to be successful in the future?
Of course, everybody knows we have constant changes. Some years, or perhaps 10 or 15 years ago, we had always this change and unstable but stable situations and areas in our life. These stable situations become very shorter, or they even won't exist in the future. So there will be a constant change. And we need to be prepared for this, not only as a human being, but as well as an organization. And for this, we need exactly these 4 to can handle these constant changes and to feel comfortable in unstable situations, because we won't have stable situations in the future. We won't have it. And this is very important and relevant for individuals, but even more important for organizations, to have these individual people in the mainly decision-making positions that can deal with these unstable situations, and they can deal with their mindsets to react on the situations they are in.
Thank you, Alex. And I mean, I think what we are all curious about the most is how to go there. And it starts with increasing your awareness. Where do you starting from? So with what kind of mindset, individual, but also in your organization. So also with your broad experience, first in the psychological background, but also in SHR at H&M. So, what would you recommend, or what's your experience first? How to become aware about your current mindset, and then the second question afterwards: how to change it?
That's a good question. First of all, I start with an organizational perspective and then jump between individual and organizational perspective in the future when I want to describe that. First of all, as an organization, you need to know what you are standing for, what's your DNA, what's your vision, what's your goal, and what's your purpose. Out of this, the mindset is developing, because what you are standing for, what's your purpose, and what's your vision, then you exactly know what kind of organizational mindset do I have. And you get the perfect fit if you define your organizational mindset and find the right people, or even have the right people in your organization with the same mindset. So you have this, let's say, overlapping circles. On the one hand, you have the organizational mindset, and on the other hand, you have the people's mindset within your organization. And hopefully, the overlap is as big as possible, because then that's the guarantee of the most possible success, or the most possible and fast reaching of your goals and your vision and your purpose. And then you need to, as a second step, you need to figure out how big is this overlap. So from my experience and from transformational processes within H&M, I know there are always some people, of course, which have the same mindset individually, which you have, which fits to your organizational mindset. But of course, there are a lot of people who perhaps never have thought of it, who perhaps never have self-reflect about it, who sometimes feel well in your organization, who want to stay in your organization, but they can't name it why. So with this group of people, you need to work and to support them and help them to name their mindset and to figure it out how good it fits to your organizational mindset. So you need to invest in them. And then, of course, there are some people you will find out that they don't fit to the mindset of your organization. It will always be like this, even if the mindset is, even if the organization is really big and you have a lot of people you're working with. And that's not dangerous. Okay, it's dangerous for your organization, but that's not bad that they don't fit to your mindset. They will fit to every other or other organizational mindsets, and they would even be happier in other organizational mindset than your organization. And as a second step, then it comes to work with these people who never thought of it or are not even aware of it. And then we start to work with self-reflection processes, with self-reflection journeys, working all over with them, and with sort of very tough questions we ask them, then, and they need to self-reflect, and they go with other people into the reflection from outside, so that they come closer and closer to their own mindset and figure out how their mindset and their values fit to the company's mindset and to the company's values. And this we do over a long time in different formats, but always connected with self-reflection journeys. And so you can figure out how big this crowd is, and you can even expand this overlap of these two circles, because the goal behind is that you need to expand it and to make that as big as possible, because if these two circles overlap a lot, then of course you get closer to your purpose and your goal and your vision.
Yeah, sure. And I can imagine, so when you align the individual and personal mindset with the mindset of the organization, and you increase the overlap, so then you have the basement for let the people identifying to the overall vision and goals of the company, and also to speak the same language and build relationships, so build a community. And of course, mindset, right? When we talk about mindset, we also talk about leadership.
Yeah.
So about leading yourself from within yourself, but also from there, leading others, leading your people, leading your teams. So what would you think are the most important things in terms of building a future mindset in terms of leadership?
Yes, we from our point in our organization always say that if you don't know yourself, then you can't lead others. So first of all, that's why we do the self-reflection journeys. So first of all, you need to figure out your own mindset. And when it comes to leadership, I can give an example how our leadership within H&M looks like. It's a trustful leadership. It's a leadership where failures are allowed, because this is the guarantee that people try out new things, that they are brave enough to try out new ways, and that they are brave enough to learn and to fail and to stand up again, to iterate and to go new ways. Otherwise, our company won't develop. So you need this braveness, as I said before, the self-reflection, and this open-mindedness to try out new things, but as well to be curious, to look outside the company and to get new inspiration and new ideas from outside in, because otherwise as a company and as people we won't expand. So this is necessary, and this we expect totally from our leaders. And that's the one thing, that you are a leader, have this mindset, but the other thing is that you create with this mindset a habitat, a working environment where people can do that. The one thing is that you be aware of that, and that you have it, and that you are leading like this. And through leading like this, you create this habitat and you create this working environment for this development, and expanding your people, your team is possible. And this goes hand in hand, because the one thing won't succeed without the other. And for this is we go through the self-reflection journeys mostly with our top leading positions, and as well key leading positions, because they will change then a lot the habitat and working environment, and at the end have an impact on our culture within H&M.
Great, thank you. And so there's one example that you gave me in another conversation that we had before about also leadership that really stick to my mind, and maybe you're open to share it with
Tell me which one.
with our listeners. It is about the hat. So.
Yeah.
I think
about
this
the hat and the
I think this is an amazing example, metaphor for changing mindset. So where do you come from, and where can you go, and what can you achieve with changing your mindset?
We are always talking about the hat and the pot. It sounds perhaps a bit funny, but let me describe it to you. The hat is, of course, looking like a hat, and looking like a hat. And it's always that you as a person or as a leader can be on top of this hat and give the advice to your people top down, with your knowledge you have, with your experience you have, and with your perspective you have. But of course that is not the only one, because this is just your perspective, it's just your knowledge, and it's just your experience. But your decisions and your point of view on the world and on situations and on decisions that should be taken is not be perhaps the right one or the best one or the only one. So we want to change this way of leading, or this way of thinking, of mindset, into the pot mindset, which if you would see it like a graphic or something right now, really makes you that it is open to get ideas, to get innovation, to get inspiration from outside in, and that you are open as a leader, not that your idea is the best one because you are the leading person, but that the best ideas can even come within your team or even from outside. And you just need to grab it. It sounds so easy, it's not always that easy, but you need to grab it, perhaps modify it a bit to your organization, and then roll it out, implement it and test it. But the most important thing is that you have an open mindset, this, let's say, pot mindset, to be open to let inspiration and ideas from outside come in. So that was our transformational process when it comes to leadership within our organization. But I think that's not just work for H&M, that's how we should lead in the world in the future.
Yeah.
Because there's so much knowledge outside of us, not only inside of us.
That's true, yeah. And what I also have this experience also in the do school and everywhere is one very important thing is when you're talking about mindsets and shifting mindsets is not only to do it on a theoretical and conversational way, but also really to bring it into action and let the people experience us. How does it feel? Mm-hmm. For example, to come into a trust mindset. So really do it. Do something that other people can feel the trust and also experience within yourself. So how does it feel for you to be in an environment where people trust and allow yourself to failure, or that you can say something to your leaders when you not agree or something, that you can go into an argue or something, and just to have this open field of acting, and then from there you can talk about the shifting of mindset and also do it. And we at the Do School, we also from our project, also with you and with all our other partners, we've developed a huge toolbox with mindsets where we think so really to go into the future for purposeful organizations. Those are tools of mindsets that we need for the future. So just continue following our stuff about purposeful organizations, and and get to know more about it, and just get in contact with us. And now I just can tell thank you very much, Alex, for joining our webinar about mindsets. And I hope all to the people who have listening to this webinar, I hope you could take out of it something with an open mind, even when it's sometimes repeating. Every time there's something new. And good luck with shifting your mindset within yourself and your organization.
Thank you, and have fun. Bye.